What if the loneliest prince in the world discovered a secret hidden beneath the ice? Long ago, beyond the highest mountains, there was a forgotten kingdom known as Ice Valley. Winter ruled the land every day of the year. Thick snow covered the forests. Frozen rivers sparkled beneath the pale sky, and icy winds whispered through ancient pine trees. Few travelers had ever seen the valley, and even fewer had returned to tell its story. At the center of this silent kingdom stood a magnificent palace carved entirely from crystal blue ice. It reflected the light of the moon like a giant frozen diamond. Inside lived Prince Elias, the young heir to the kingdom. He wore a warm white cloak trimmed with silver fur, yet no cloak could protect him from the cold loneliness inside his heart. Although the people admired their prince, they rarely spoke with joy. Endless winters had taken away laughter, songs, and hope. Every morning, Elias stood beside the palace window, watching snowflakes drift across the empty streets. He wondered what life looked like beyond the icy mountains. Was there a place where flowers bloomed, birds sang, and children played beneath the warm sun? One quiet evening, while walking beside an ancient frozen lake, Elias noticed a faint golden light glowing beneath the thick ice. It pulsed slowly, as if something deep below was waiting for him. With one careful step forward, the lonely prince unknowingly began the greatest adventure of his life. Prince Elias knelt beside the frozen lake, unable to take his eyes off the mysterious golden light. It shimmered gently beneath the thick ice, growing brighter with every passing moment. The silent air around him felt different, as if the valley itself had stopped breathing. Carefully, Elias placed one gloved hand on the cold surface. At that instant, tiny golden cracks spread across the ice, not breaking it, but glowing like rivers of light. A warm feeling traveled through his fingers, something he had never experienced in the endless winter. Then, a calm, ancient voice echoed softly, "Only a heart that knows true loneliness can awaken the hidden path." Elias quickly looked around, but no one was there. The voice seemed to come from beneath the frozen lake itself. The golden light slowly gathered into the shape of a small glowing bird. It floated above the ice without moving its wings. The magical creature looked directly into the prince's eyes before turning toward the dark forest beyond the lake. Without speaking a single word, the bird began to fly away. Elias hesitated for only a moment. Curiosity was stronger than fear. Pulling his cloak tightly around his shoulders, he followed the glowing bird into the silent forest, unaware that every step was leading him closer to a secret that had been hidden for centuries. The glowing bird flew silently between the ancient pine trees, leaving a trail of golden light in the snowy darkness. Prince Elias followed without looking back. With every step, the familiar sounds of Ice Valley faded away, replaced by a strange and peaceful silence. The forest seemed alive. Frost-covered branches gently swayed, even though no wind could be felt. Soft whispers drifted through the air, speaking in a language Elias had never heard before. Instead of fear, he felt an unexpected sense of calm. After a long walk, the bird stopped in front of a towering stone arch covered with thick ice and glowing blue crystals. Strange symbols were carved into the ancient rock. As Elias stepped closer, the symbols slowly lit up one by one. The bird landed on a nearby branch and let out a gentle song. The frozen arch trembled quietly. Snow fell from its sides, revealing a hidden doorway that had remained sealed for countless years. Beyond the doorway stretched a narrow passage filled with warm, golden light. For the first time in his life, Elias felt the touch of gentle warmth on his face. Taking a deep breath, the lonely prince crossed the ancient doorway, leaving behind the frozen world he had always known, and stepping into a place where forgotten magic had patiently waited for his arrival. As Prince Elias stepped through the ancient doorway, the freezing air disappeared behind him. Before his eyes stretched a secret garden unlike anything he had ever imagined. Bright green grass covered the ground, colorful flowers bloomed beneath golden sunlight, and clear streams flowed gently between smooth white stones. Elias stood in silence, amazed. He had never seen living flowers before. He carefully reached down and touched a soft blue blossom. Its petals were warm, and a sweet fragrance filled the air. A gentle smile appeared on his face for the first time in many years. The glowing bird circled above him before landing beside an enormous tree with silver leaves. Hanging from its branches were shining crystal fruits that sparkled like tiny stars. As Elias approached, one fruit slowly floated down into his hands. The moment he touched it, peaceful memories filled his mind. He saw Ice Valley long ago when children laughed in the streets. Rivers flowed freely, and the kingdom was filled with music and happiness. Then the vision faded. A quiet voice echoed from the ancient tree. Hope has never disappeared. It has only been waiting for someone brave enough to bring it home. Holding the glowing fruit close to his heart, Elias realized that his journey was no longer only about discovering magic. It had become a mission to save the future. Prince Elias held the glowing crystal fruit as he walked deeper into the hidden garden. Every step filled the air with a gentle warmth. Birds sang from the silver branches, and butterflies with shimmering wings danced above the flowers. It felt like a forgotten dream hidden beneath the frozen world. Suddenly, a soft light gathered beneath the ancient crystal tree. From the glowing mist appeared an old woman dressed in flowing robes woven with silver threads. Her kind eyes sparkled like morning frost, and she leaned gently on a staff carved from clear crystal. "I have been waiting for you, Prince Elias," she said with a peaceful smile. Elias lowered his head respectfully. "Who are you?" "I am the keeper of the crystal tree. Long ago, this valley was filled with warmth, kindness, and laughter. But when fear and loneliness entered the hearts of its people, the light of the valley slowly faded, and endless winter covered the land." The keeper gently touched the glowing fruit in Elias's hands. "This fruit carries the heart of hope," she whispered. "But hope alone cannot break the ancient curse. You must find 3 forgotten lights hidden across the valley of ice. Only when they shine together will spring return." Elias took a deep breath. Though the journey ahead would be dangerous, he knew he had finally found the purpose he had been searching for all his life. At sunrise, Prince Elias left the hidden garden with the heart of hope safely wrapped inside his cloak. The keeper of the crystal tree pointed towards the northern cliffs, where the first forgotten light had rested in silence for centuries. The glowing bird returned, flying just ahead of him. Together, they climbed icy paths covered with fresh snow. The higher they traveled, the colder the wind became. Soon they reached a narrow bridge of ancient ice stretching across a deep frozen canyon. Halfway across, the bridge began to crack. Sharp winds howled through the valley, testing the prince's courage. Elias slowed his steps but refused to turn back. He remembered the smiling faces inside the crystal fruit and found the strength to keep moving. On the other side stood a lonely tower carved into the mountain. At its highest window floated a small blue flame that never burnt out. As Elias reached for it, the flame gently settled into his hands without causing any pain. A warm voice whispered through the air, "The first light is the light of courage. It belongs only to those who walk forward despite their fear." The blue flame merged with the heart of hope, shining brighter than before. Elias smiled quietly. His journey had only begun, but the darkness of Ice Valley had already started to lose its hold. Prince Elias carefully carried the heart of hope, now glowing with the first light of courage. The magical bird guided him east, where the keeper had spoken of an ancient lake known as the Frozen Mirror. Legends said the lake revealed not a person's face, but the truth hidden inside their heart. As the prince reached the silent shore, the smooth ice reflected a sky filled with silver clouds. Suddenly, the reflection changed. Instead of his own image, Elias saw himself as a frightened child, standing alone in the palace, believing that loneliness would never end. The vision filled his heart with sadness, but he did not look away. He accepted every painful memory and every silent tear he had hidden for years. The frozen lake began to glow. tiny cracks of golden light spread across its surface until a beautiful white crystal rose slowly from the center. It floated gently toward Elias and rested in his hands. A calm voice echoed across the valley. The second light is the light of truth. Only those who accept their own heart can carry it. The crystal dissolved into pure light and joined the heart of hope. Its warm glow became brighter than ever before, lighting the snowy landscape around him. With two forgotten lights now shining together, Prince Elias continued his journey, knowing that the final and greatest challenge was still waiting beyond the frozen horizon. The heart of hope now glowed with the light of courage and the light of truth. Its gentle warmth guided Prince Elias toward the tallest mountain in Ice Valley, a place known as the Mountain of Silent Echoes. No birds flew above its icy peaks, and no wind dared to disturb its ancient silence. As Elias climbed the steep path, he began to hear faint voices from the past. They were not frightening. They were the forgotten dreams of the people of Ice Valley. Children wishing for spring, parents hoping for peace, and elders remembering days filled with music and laughter. At the mountain's summit stood a circle of towering crystal stones. In the center rested a small golden flame floating quietly in the air. As Elias stepped closer, the flame flickered as if testing the kindness within his heart. Without hesitation, the prince gently placed the heart of hope beneath the flame. A brilliant light surrounded both of them, filling the sky with shimmering colors. Then a warm voice echoed across the mountain. The third light is the light of compassion. Only a heart that cares for others more than itself can awaken it. The golden flame merged with the heart of hope, making it shine brighter than the morning sun. At that moment, Elias realized he finally held all three forgotten lights. The time had come to return home and face the ancient curse that had frozen Ice Valley for generations. With the three forgotten lights shining inside the heart of hope, Prince Elias began his journey back to Ice Valley. The glowing bird flew beside him, but the sky above grew darker with every step. Thick clouds covered the mountains, and a powerful snowstorm rose from the frozen plains. As Elias reached the entrance to the valley, the storm gathered into the shape of a towering figure made of ice and swirling snow. Its glowing blue eyes looked down at the young prince. "I am the guardian of the ancient curse," the giant voice echoed across the valley.
For centuries, fear has kept this kingdom frozen. No one has ever carried the three lights this far. The icy guardian raised a massive hand, and freezing winds rushed toward Elias. Snow blinded his eyes, and the ground beneath him trembled. For a moment, fear returned to his heart. Then Elias remembered everything he had learned. Courage gave him strength, truth gave him honesty, and compassion reminded him why he had begun this journey. He lifted the heart of hope high into the air. Its golden light pushed back the darkness, shining through the storm like the first sunrise after a long winter. The guardian slowly stepped back. For the first time in centuries, the ancient curse began to weaken, and the frozen valley waited for its final moment of freedom.
The golden light from the heart of hope spread across Ice Valley like the first rays of dawn. The guardian of the ancient curse stood silently as the storm around him began to fade. The fierce winds became gentle, and the dark clouds slowly drifted away. Prince Elias stepped forward without fear. He held the glowing heart with both hands and spoke in a calm voice. This valley does not belong to fear anymore. It belongs to hope. The heart of hope rose into the sky, shining brighter than the sun. Waves of warm light flowed across the mountains, forests, and frozen rivers. Thick ice cracked open with a deep rumble, revealing clear water beneath. Snow melted from the trees, and tiny green leaves appeared for the first time in generations. Across the kingdom, flowers bloomed in every field. Birds returned to the sky, singing joyful songs that had been silent for centuries. Children ran through the streets, laughing as warm spring rain gently touched their faces. The guardian lowered his head. His icy body dissolved into thousands of sparkling snowflakes that floated peacefully into the bright blue sky. Prince Elias looked across the valley with tears of joy. The endless winter had finally come to an end, and the kingdom had been given a new beginning filled with life, hope, and endless possibilities. Days passed, and Ice Valley was transformed into a land of color and life. Crystal rivers flowed freely through green meadows. Wildflowers covered the hills, and the songs of birds echoed from every forest. The people smiled more with each new sunrise, grateful for the gift they had almost forgotten. Prince Elias walked through the villages, no longer surrounded by silence. Children ran to greet him with laughter, offering fresh flowers instead of fearful bows. The prince realized that the greatest treasure he had found was not magic, it was the love and trust of his people. The keeper of the crystal tree appeared one final time beneath the ancient silver branches. "You have broken the curse," she said, with a gentle smile. "But remember, true light must be protected every day through kindness, courage, and compassion.
Elias nodded with gratitude. He understood that hope was not a single moment of magic. It was a choice people made through their words, their actions, and the way they cared for one another. As the sun set behind the distant mountains, the heart of hope rose into the evening sky, becoming the brightest star above Ice Valley. Its warm glow reminded every family that even the longest winter could end when one brave heart chose hope over fear. Many years passed, but the story of Prince Elias was never forgotten. Ice Valley was no longer known as the Kingdom of Endless Winter. It became a land where flowers bloomed in every season, rivers sparkled beneath the morning sun, and laughter filled every village. Prince Elias grew into a wise and gentle king. He ruled not with fear, but with kindness, honesty, and compassion. Whenever someone felt lonely or afraid, the king reminded them that even the coldest night would one day welcome the sunrise. High above the kingdom, the heart of hope still shone as a brilliant star. Travelers from distant lands followed its light, finding warmth, friendship, and peace within the valley that had once been frozen by despair. On quiet evenings, children gathered around their grandparents to hear the old legend. They listened with wonder as they learned that the greatest magic in the world was never hidden inside a palace or a treasure. It lived inside every heart, willing to choose courage over fear, truth over doubt, and compassion over selfishness. And whenever the first snow of winter gently touched the mountains, the people of Ice Valley smiled instead of worrying. They knew the light of hope would never disappear again.